Hello, 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 and welcome back to Talking to Tequila with Chloe. That's me, Chloe. We have a wild week ahead of us, and I think you guys are going to love this episode. It's going to be a slightly little bit different, nearly no segments. We are doing an all things vacation to NYC, everything you need to know if you are going to NYC, where to stay, where to eat, things to do. It is going to be your all-encompassing list. I've had several people reach out to me and say, I wish I could go to NYC. I wish I could do this. I'm scared, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give you the rundown. If you have high anxiety like me, where am I going to park? Where am I going to do this? What's going to happen here? I'm covering it all for you this episode. Not only that, I am going to get a little bit into my little sister. It's her birthday today. And then just the tiniest little drip of tequila time, because a few things happen that I do feel like it's very timely and we're not going to talk about it next week. But you may be asking me, well, why are we doing this all-encompassing NYC episode? Well, because you will see, it is Sunday right now. I'm recording ahead of schedule because tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to be in New York City. And this episode is not dropping till Wednesday. So I can divulge the reason that I'm going to New York City tomorrow on Monday is to go to a party at TikTok headquarters. I will be at TikTok headquarters for a party. That's right. You heard it here from me first. Now, you probably have already seen it on my TikTok because I will be obviously posting videos, but just in case you missed it, Peter Thomas Roth is throwing a launch party for a new product. I had been pretty decently involved in the process, just from doing a photo shoot with them a few months ago. Now, the sad news is they did not use any of my stuff, like no photo, no video. So that was extremely actually embarrassing and depressing. Now, when they were taking my photos, because they have several before and afters on the packaging, when they were taking my photos, it was taking quite a bit of time, and they basically were like, your eye bags just do not really show up that well on camera. And I'm like, I know, and especially if you're using professional lighting. On this video right now, I have obviously no filter. It's on my iPhone. You can't really see my eye bags because I have all this bright light facing me. So I do have these really defined under eye hollows. I think you guys see them on my videos a lot. But when there's really bright lighting on me, it's nearly impossible to see them. So they were taking all these photos. They're look down, look up, look to the left, look to the right. And they just kept saying it's kind of a good problem to have, but it just is not showing up on camera. So in that moment, I kind of knew. I was like, I don't know if they're going to use any of my stuff. Now, there was an intrusive thought of me, for 1 second, that I was like, is it because my TikTok is too, is it becoming too political? Now, I know that they send me stuff all the time still. We're very engaged with each other. But, there are times where I did political videos where it was a little bit more what's the word I want to look for? A little bit more clever. Oh, let's break down this girl's makeup routine and then kind of go into it like that. And I have progressed a little bit more to fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to just take that out of my mind and think that's not the reason they use it, because at the end of the day, it really would have just been my eyeball. If you look at the packaging that they have, it is just the eyeball. And I guess I don't think mine showed up that well. But nevertheless, I still did get invited to the launch party, which is really, really nice. So it is the Peter Thomas Roth, temporary eye tightener, the new Easywear formula, being I don't know if it's being hosted by TikTok, but it's at TikTok headquarters. So I think it's a skincare launch party hosted by TikTok or thrown at TikTok. Either way, that is what I'm doing Monday. which would have been 2 days ago now by the time you're listening to this. And then we're going to spend the night in New York City Monday night, wake up Tuesday, and go to Rehoboth Beach. We were supposed to start our vacation Sunday at Rehoboth and then stay till Wednesday, but we moved the vacation back 2 days so that I could go to New York City. I was almost not going to go, and I was doing this kind of like, not moral high ground, but I was like, I have a vacation scheduled. My boyfriend's been looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it. Like, I can't be one of these girls that I don't want to say makes other people suffer, but like tells my boyfriend like, well, sorry, vacation's this or vacation's altered or we're not doing vacation now. Like, I have a party to go to. Like, to me, that just seems so conceited. But he was very adamant. He's like, is there a way we can move the vacation, blah, blah, blah. And we looked at the hotel that we were staying at in Rehoboth, and lo and behold, they had rooms open like just 2 days later, which was perfect. So he's not invited to the party because it's like it's like a true influencer party where there's like a set number of people that can be there, and like everybody I think kind of has to count in terms of like promotion, I think. So I booked for him. The party's from 6 to 8 was from 6 to 8. I booked for him a like Korean scalp massage or something. You know those videos where you see like that halo of water going down your head and they like massage your scalp and all that? So while I'm at the party, he's going to be like a few blocks away getting this like very she head rub because, you know, I wanted him to have something, you know, to do when I'm at this party. I don't just want to be like, I'll be at this party for 2 hours, like figure out your own life and fend for yourself. He could, right? He's a grown man, but he's also, you know, altering his vacation plans and being very accommodating to me and my entire dreams in life. So yes, I'm going to book him a head massage. Don't let the rhetoric these days of fuck the patriarchy, we hate men, crawl and creep into your life with people that you actually know are good people with good hearts, right? Fuck the patriarchy, but also my boyfriend, who I've known for 16 years, who's been nothing but accommodating and helping me with my dreams. Like, you're not going to shit on people, like your husband, your dad, like, you know what I mean? I always think that that's important to distinguish because, you know, my favorite phrase this year is, I'm so sick of these men. And that isn't an all-encompassing phrase of these men, but not the ones that you know that are good people. Now, I will say my background is an ever-evolving setting. I tried to add some more texture here if you're watching on YouTube. I'm trying to get the depth correct for this new video version. The old video that I had been doing for the last several months, I really do like how it was like light and bright and there was good depth in my video. I love what I have going on right now, but I need to nail the perfect concoction of it. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way that it can look slightly more elevated and more three-dimensional. Okay, I hope you cannot hear the lawnmower. I live in a suburb, okay? And my neighbors are wonderful. They're very, very great neighbors. But there's something about a Sunday, honey, we're trimming hedges and we're cutting grass. And like me, I've always been very sensitive to noise in the sense that my dad was always like, nothing ruins a Sunday more than a lawnmower. So like we have a push lawnmower. My dad always had a push lawnmower, like no engines here. You know, I want the neighborhood to be able to relax on the weekend. My neighbors don't feel the same way, which is fine because my neighbors edge up my front of my lawn every week. Like they're very good at like making the neighborhood look nice. So I am nothing but appreciative. But if you do hear honeymower, I am so sorry about that. You know, got to keep the neighborhood nice. Now I am in my pajamas today because the schedule's full. Record the podcast, get the house ready for my vacation, you know, because we're going to have people watching the dogs, you know, clean the fridge out, get the food ready for the dogs, pick my outfits, pack. There's 1,000 things going on. You know, I'm shucking and jiving. So, okay, let's jump right into it. I've flitz-flotzed enough. Like, I'm ready to just get this party started. Also, these are new pajamas from Aerie. If you're interested, they do always sell out. They're the fall Snoopy pajamas. So you snatch them up now while you can, because they're not going to be available in like literally a week from now. New York City. Land of the free, home of the brave. By the way, I'll do a full TikTok party rundown next week. You will have all the tea, honey. I will be spilling tea. Oh, are we at the Boston Harbor? Because there's tea in the water, baby. Tea everywhere. I will be spilling all the tea next week. Okay. So first and foremost, let's get down to the nitty gritty of when you get to New York, where are you landing? Where are we staying? Now, if you want to fly, you can fly. If you want to drive, I prefer driving. It is really not that bad driving in the city. I would just say be vigilant. Don't be on your phone, and be ready to shuck and jive at any turn. Watch for pedestrians. There's people walking around. There's bikes zipping around. But it really is not that bad driving in the city. Or you can fly into the city. I like JFK. And that's what I would normally fly into. But, you know, I think with flights, just fly in whatever is most cost effective and works best with timing for you. All the different places are going to have traffic getting into the city. I like JFK. Now, is it Newark that people are saying do not fly out of right now? So I would say LaGuardia and JFK are your best bets. There's Ubers, there's taxis, there's 1,000 ways to get into the city. Just know that once you land, you're going to need an additional like hour and a half to get into the city. So, you know, plan accordingly. Now for places to stay, I have 2 recommendations. All of the recommendations I'm giving you are from lived experiences. Because I feel like I can explain them better to you because I've actually stayed there, ate there, blah, 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 blah. My first hotel recommendation is the more luxurious of the 2. We like to stay at the Gansevoort Meatpacking in New York City. Now, let me spell that for you. Gansevoort. Meatpacking, New York City. This is nestled right in between the West Village, Chelsea. It's a really beautiful, beautiful hotel. The rooms are very nice. The rooms have now when you stay in New York City, the first thing you need to know is most of the hotels that are like the lower cost rooms are like a shoebox. I'm telling you, like you have to kind of shuffle sideways to get to like even walk between the bed and like the bathroom. They're all very, very small. One of the reasons I like the Gansevoort is because their base room is decently sized. So normally like 290 square feet is what it would be saying for it to be a decently sized room that you can move around more comfortably. So this is in a beautiful location. If you're staying here, know that you're going to be more in the area of not big skyscrapers. It's going to be more of that like Sex in the City feel, people eating right out on the street, a ton of restaurants around, a lot of shopping around, boutique shopping. You know, like there's a Brooklinen store, there's a Love Shack Fancy right around there. Very, very like Andy Cohen, West Village, Jennifer Lawrence, neighborhood feels, tables out right on the street, people eating, enjoying the kind of atmosphere. So I like it because I feel very safe walking around there. Now, I feel safe walking around almost all of New York, and I think that's just because I'm more used to the city. But if you want to walk straight outside your hotel and have cobblestone streets and cabs running around and people, you know, kind of just maybe more like, I don't know how to describe it, maybe more lackadaisically walking around shopping, that's kind of where you're going to want to stay. There are cheaper hotels in that area. You could always, highlight the Gansevoort and then look around. But you're a 25-minute walk into Soho. You're a 20-minute walk to the different comedy clubs. You're in a very walkable, friendly area. All of New York City is walkable, but many of the things I'm going to tell you on places to go, places to eat, are centered around this hotel. There's also the Arlo Midtown. That's ARLO, Midtown. If you want to stay more in like the city, really tall buildings, skyscrapers, you walk around, it's the hustle and the bustle. It's people in business suits walking around on cell phones, making calls, making deals. You're about a block from Times Square, although it doesn't feel like it, because I prefer not to stay in Times Square necessarily, because that is very like tourist trappy, just there's a lot going on. It is set back from Times Square. You're not facing into Times Square. You're a block or two back, more in the actual city. Midtown is very like businessmen, businesswomen, and young, old. There's a huge variety of people walking around, but it's much more the hustle and the bustle of the city. So between the two hotels, you need to see if you want to walk outside and be surrounded by lovely restaurants and people sitting out on the streets and sipping their coffee and having a brunch. And it's slightly more, not huge buildings around. Now there's buildings around, but not skyscrapers. That's what I'm saying. Kind of Sex in the City feel. Or do you want to be at the Arlo Midtown, hustle bustle, skyscrapers around, people on calls, horns honking, that vibe? They're both lovely hotels. The Gansevoort view from the hotel is not looking out into a beautiful city. It is looking out into a beautiful street, but not skyscrapers. You're not going to see the lights lit up with the expanse of New York City in front of you. If you're at the Arlo Midtown, there is an option for a city view hotel room, and that's where you would get that expansive view of the city, lights on, the New Yorker in the window, very, very beautiful New York City that you can see in front of you, really breathtaking views. Now, I will say with the Arlo Midtown, the rooms are very small. It's that 180, 190 square feet. You're kind of shuffling sideways to get to where you're going in your room. No really room to keep your suitcase. Very, very tight quarters. But the price difference between these two hotels is a lot. The Gansevoort is like $700 a night. It's very expensive. Sometimes it's $400, sometimes it's $500. It's a splurge to stay there. The Arlo you can get for like $200 a night, sometimes depending on the season, $300 a night, or even less than that, like $150. Like when we're staying this trip, it's like $150 a night. So very, very reasonable. But those are the differences between the price points, okay? If you're going to stay at the Arlo Midtown, I recommend booking, if you're driving in, if you go to Spot Hero, you can type in your destination and your location of where you're going, and it will show you garages around that area. And you can reserve a spot ahead of time. All the garages are no in and out privileges. You just park you drive up. It's normally valet. The Spot here will tell you if it's valet or not. You drive in, and when we say valet, it's more of because they don't want you to drive the car. They double and triple park cars into the garage. So you just pull up and you give the guy your key and they park it because they like to stack cars in. But I normally stay at the 408 West 37th Street garage. It's the Hudson Crossing Valet Garage, and I reserve my spot on Spot Hero. And again, if you don't want to stay at any of the hotels that I'm telling you about, if you go to Spot Hero, you can type in your hotel and it will let you find the garage nearest you. At the Gansevoort Meatpacking, they have valet parking. So I park there. I just pull right up to the hotel. There's a big valet kind of set out for you. And then you just drop your keys off to the valet and they park your car for you at a garage that they have rented. That's another reason we like to stay at the Ganser Fort, because obviously it's nice to just drive right up to the hotel and not worry past that. Now, things to do. Some of my top recommendations are, I think it's an absolute necessity to go to the Brooklyn Bridge. I would say look at the weather and see when you are planning on going, what the clearest day will be. So the least overcast day. I would recommend either going during, full bright sunshiny time, because it really is beautiful. Or if you go at dusk with the sun setting, when you're halfway through the Brooklyn Bridge, you can look back at the city and the view is amazing. So either one of those times is good. And then I recommend crossing all the way through the Brooklyn Bridge. And when you get into Brooklyn, if you type into your phone, it's also very easy to find. You generally see a wave of people moving in that direction. The view to New York City is the Vista Point Manhattan and Brooklyn Bridge lookout. Did I say that right? Did I write that right? Okay. The Vista Point Manhattan and Brooklyn Bridge lookout. You can type that in, or you can type in the Brooklyn Bridge lookout. Both of those locations will MapQuest you. It's like a 5-minute walk to get to the water. And then you can see the Brooklyn Bridge and then the city in the background. Those are good photo opportunities. But I highly recommend the Brooklyn Bridge. It's stunning. It is beautiful. If you want that skyscraper view where you're in a really, really tall building looking out, the Empire State Building is of course traditional. It's the one with the big fences and the little binocular things that you can look at. That's of course iconic to go there. However, a newer version of that is called Edge, EDGE, where it's also that very tall building. But on the Edge, you go outside and it's all glass paneling. So you can see like 360 degrees of the city. And there's also a panel there where they have a clear floor and ground, so you can walk over that clear paneling and the city is below you. So you're literally walking and it feels like you're walking on the air, which is really freaky. It actually takes like a little bit of nerve to walk through that. Now, I will say if it's a very hot day or a very cold day, I would recommend heading up Chelsea Market. It's like a huge indoor market with like hundreds, I feel like it's hundreds of stores and vendors where you can walk around. There's food, there's shops, there's keychains, there's, plants. It's like vendor on vendor on vendor, and it's very big. So if it's really hot or really cold, or you need some AC, or you just want maybe like a little bit of a reprieve of like the exterior of the city, Chelsea Market is great, and it's a block away from Ganser Fort Meatpacking Hotel. I also recommend, I know Starbucks is really quite controversial right now. I myself haven't gone into a Starbucks in quite some time. However, I do still drink their canned iced coffee. It's my favorite. But I know there's a lot of drama with like the union and things like that. Like I do think it's pretty fucked up that their employees wanted to unionize, and they literally just were like, okay, so we'll just have you arrested. Or we'll just shut down the store. I mean, I allegedly, in my opinion, I think that's what's happening. But I did see a video of one of their employees like wearing I want to go be a union store, a union t-shirt at their shift, which I think they're allowed to do. And they ended up like calling the cops on them, and like a 25-year-old like was escorted off the property by like police. It's ridiculous. But with all that being said, there is something called a Starbucks Reserve in New York City. Now, a Starbucks Reserve, there's I think 7 of them in the world. Like one is in Milan, one is in Chicago, one is in Seattle, one is in New York. There's only 3 in America, and all the rest are in different parts of the world. And the Starbucks Reserve is like a massive Starbucks with like huge brewing booms and like specialty coffees, exclusive menu items that are not on any other menu, huge like roasting basins that you can see. Like the one in Starbucks is 4 stories high, or the one in Chicago is 4 stories high, and like the top floor is a bar, like a Starbucks bar with espresso martinis, espresso flights. It's a very unbelievably unique experience. And there is a Starbucks Reserve in New York City. I've been there before. Honestly, it is very, very cool. And it's only like, there's only so many opportunities in this country for you to go to one. Like I said, Seattle, Chicago, and New York. So I would recommend checking it out. You don't even have to buy anything there. You could just go in and see what it's all about, because it is actually pretty cool. Next, you must see a comedy show. I like the Comedy Cellar, and man, I really hope you cannot hear that lawnmower. They're fucking mowing for like an hour. Do you hear it? It's a fucking hour. My dad's right. It is noise pollution. Do you know what noise pollution is? It's like just constant noise stimulation. Like I said, I am appreciative of them doing it, but it's like, holy fuck. Like, it's a fucking Sunday at 4:00. My God. Okay. Anyways. I shouldn't be complaining. They're probably mowing my lawn. Honestly. That's why I'm not complaining. It's because I'm recording the podcast and I'm getting anxiety. I'm already feeling like this is a boring episode. I'm sorry. But I do think some people are going to appreciate it who have been wanting to go to New York City for a while. It's like people say all the time, like, I'm just so scared. And I'm like, I'll help you. Okay. You must see a comedy show. I like the Comedy Cellar, and with that is also the Village Underground. The Comedy Cellar is one of the original comedy clubs in New York. It's very, very small. It's that basement feel. It's where all the greats have practiced, built their sets. And for me, there's 2. If you type in Google the Comedy Cellar, it will come up right away. The Comedy Cellar NYC. When you click on it, they now have 3 different locations, all within the same block. So there's the original Comedy Cellar. That is extremely, extremely small. It is literally like you are shoulder to shoulder in that place, but it is the original. Okay. There's also the Village Underground. Now, the Village Underground is on the same block, but it's down the street and around the corner. I like the Village Underground because the Village Underground has musicians there with it. So there's slightly more room. When I say slightly, I mean instead of your shoulders touching, there's a millimeter in between your shoulders. But they have a pianist and a drummer there. So in between, like, comics coming up and down, like they'll do like a little, like it's really lovely. And the thing about the Village Underground is it's slightly bigger, but still the same feel. Like it's that basement feel. Now, I would say you could pick either one. How it works is you book a reservation online. You don't pay, you just book your name. So you can either book your name ahead of time so that you're on the list guaranteed, or you can walk up to these places and stand in the basically like the seat filler line. So they make sure all the reservations go in first, and then you stand in line and you fill in seats as there's some available to you. If the show time starts at 9, you want to be there. I get there at 8, even if I have a reservation, because I like to be in the front row. I like to be right at the stage, because if you're right at the stage, they do crowd work with you. If you make a reservation and you don't feel like you need to be right at the stage, you can roll in. If the show starts at 9, you could even roll in at like 8:30. because the line starts forming and, you kind of want decent seats. You will get in no matter what if you have a reservation. If you're in the stand-in line, you need to get there an hour earlier than showtime or at least 45 minutes before showtime so you can make sure you get a seat. If you are in the stand-in line, you will normally get a seat, but you need to be higher up in the line. Now, what I will say about the Comedy Cellar in the Village Underground, there's also Black Fat Pussycat is the other location, but I have never been to that location. So I'm recommending, like I said, the Comedy Cellar in the Village Underground. Sorry I'm saying a lot. This episode sucks. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. I don't know why I decided to do this. I really am apologizing. But what I do want to say about the Comedy Cellar in the Village Underground is at the Village Underground and the Comedy Cellar, there are very, very big names that you will see there. The top of the top practice there. It's no cell phones. They put your cell phone in a secured bag. So while there is a normal lineup that you will see online, which is not released until the week of, so you normally book a spot. And if you do want to book a spot, you need to go on at least 3 weeks ahead of time to book a seat at the minimum so that you can make sure that you have the show time that you want. However, you will not know who is performing that night because they only list the lineup a week in advance. So, very big name. You will see big names. Sometimes you won't see names that you recognize. But the thing about this place is very big names will drop in as a surprise to work on a set. So it won't say Dave Chappelle, but for example, I was there once with my boyfriend and there was the lineup that had been presented already. However, the host had come up randomly and was like, hey, so change of plans. Dave Chappelle came in and he needs to work on some stuff. So this is now Dave Chappelle's time. So Dave Chappelle came to the stage and started working on stuff. And then 5 minutes into it, he's like, actually, I came in here and interrupted and, I actually don't even feel like doing this anymore alone. Chris Rock come to the stage and then Chris Rock came up. So Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock came up and just riffed for a half hour. And then at some point, Dave Chappelle was like, I need a beer. I need someone to get me a beer. You get me a beer. And they had clearly pre-planned it. And all of a sudden, John Hamm comes up to the stage from Mad Men with 3 Guinnesses. So John Hamm, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock were just on the stage. I was front row. Oh, it's annoying to get there an hour early, isn't it? But it's not annoying when John Hamm's in your fucking face. Exactly. So yes, you get there an hour early, but guess what? You're front row. So when really freaking cool things like that happen and John Hamm is 2 feet in front of you drinking a Guinness with Chris Rock, and then Chris Rock leans down to me and says, do you mind if I use your table for my beer? And then sets his beer on your table. And so it's my drink and Chris Rock's drink. That's pretty freaking cool, right? Normally, I don't know where they normally pop in at more, but I think they pop in more at the Village Underground because it is slightly bigger and there's a bigger crowd there. So they have a better feedback for their material that they're working on. Next, between the 2 parks, obviously Central Park is beautiful and expansive. However, you really do feel like you're out of the city. I would recommend going so you can say you went, but I prefer Washington Square Park because Washington Square Park has more of that city feel where people are sitting, reading. There's a lot of things going on. It's a good photo op. So I like Washington Square Park. And then Grand Central Terminal, I would highly, highly recommend because it is expansive inside. Very, very beautiful, breathtaking, actually. It's a little shady walking to Grand Central Terminal, but if you act like you're meant to be there, people do not bother you. Just don't act like you're a lamb, oh, what's going on here? Just act like you've been that bitch and walk around confidently like that. You'll be fine. And then, of course, the 9/11 Memorial and the 9/11 Museum. You have to see that. That's downtown, okay? I prefer to walk most of these places because New York City in itself is so breathtaking and in such a vibe and like no other place you've ever been before, that even if the walk is 40 minutes, it's beautiful, it's stunning, it's interesting, it's unique. You see cool people, you see cool places. So I like to walk around down there. And then in terms of Ubers versus taxis, I like to take cabs and taxis because they are cheaper. I don't like to do Uber, even though it's more like convenient that they pick you up right at your location and you can say exactly where you're getting dropped off at. I don't like the Uber. I like the feel of a city cab. Now, just know this with a city cab, whenever you're telling the cab where you're going to go, you do not say the location like, oh, I'm going to the Arlo Midtown. That's not what you say. You look up on your map where you're going and you say the street corners. So you need to look at what streets, intersections you want to go to. So I wouldn't say I'm going to Arlo Midtown. I would get in and say I'm going to West 47th Street and 9th Avenue. You need to look at the road intersection. That's how you tell the cab where you're going. Okay? So normally, like if the Arlo Midtown is where I'm staying, I'll take a screenshot in my phone. So I always have the intersection of where that's at or the nearest intersection, right? Because the Arlo's in the middle of a block, but I'll say the intersection of that block. And then I just get dropped off there. So that's how the cabs work. Okay. I always try to look if it's a one way, like I don't like to give, if you're downtown and you're going uptown, so you know the street is going this way, don't give them a one-way street going the opposite way because you know that's not how they're getting there. So I know that that's kind of in the weeds. Just give them the intersection. They'll be fine. Cabbies are very smart. They know exactly all the intersections. You know you have to take a test to even be a cabbie so that you can know where all the intersections are for when people give you that information. Now, lastly, for New York City, let's cover food, which is, of course, the most important part. The number one coffee shop I would recommend is 787 Coffee. It is Puerto Rican, I believe. The coffee's insane. It's so good. I like the one in Chelsea because they have a swing in the window. And then also, if you're staying at the Arlo Midtown, they have a coffee shop in the lobby of Arlo, and their coffee is insane too. You know, I like a full fat latte, honey. And for that location, it knocks my socks off. So that's where I would recommend coffee. Sugarfish. If you like sushi, you must go to Sugarfish. I like the one in Soho. If you like really gaudy sushis, if you like sushis with 50 motherfucking ingredients on it, you are not going to like Sugarfish. But if you like a beautifully cut fish, not fishy at all, just the like perfect, I think it's nigiri, but sometimes people say I say it wrong, like a little perfect sushi rice with the most beautiful, delicate piece of fish on top, perfectly seasoned. Like I love the salmon nigiri or nigiri from Sugarfish. They have toasted sesame seeds on it. Like it's fucking bananas. It's clean, it's simple, it's beautiful. If you want to get into sushi and those really decadent sushis intimidate you, hit up Sugarfish. It's light, it's delicate, it's clean, it's easy, it's simple. It's well priced. It is a walk-in only, no reservations, which I also like because you don't have to feel like I got to be there right at 7. You might have to wait a little bit, but at least you're going to get a seat, okay? I also love Palma, Palma. It is an Italian restaurant in the West Village. If you Google the best Italian in the city, it will give you a list of things that you're going to have to book out months in advance and watch your calendar to even be able to get into. Palma, we were able to walk right in. It was a beautiful interior, like very Tuscany vibes. The decor was immaculate. The food was insane, and the outside back patio was covered with like these vines on the ceiling. It was beautiful. Palma. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Every single thing we got there, we were obsessed with. And like I said, that's in the West Village. Quique Crudo is also in the West Village. That is a seafood forward Mexican small plate restaurant. The chef that opened it, it's like newer, it's only about a year old. The chef that opened it is a Michelin star chef. I think that this restaurant will also end up getting a Michelin star. I'm going to spell it for you because the way it sounds is not the way it's spelled. Quique Crudo. Quique Crudo. Crudo. It is extremely expensive. We spent full disclosure $400 there plus the tip. It was like a $500 dinner. We did not realize it was going to be that much. We ordered a few specials that they had told us about, and so I don't think we realized that like the specials we ordered were extremely expensive. You can go there and make better decisions than what we made to not have an as expensive bill. Like we want to go back there, but we cannot justify. I've never had a $500 dinner in my life. I actually was fucking gagged when I saw the bill. But like we said, when we go back, like we won't get 2 cocktails each. We'll get 1 cocktail each. They said you need like about 6 small plates to feel like to be satisfied for two people. Realistically, I think you could do 5. So that in itself will knock off a big chunk of price. And then if they read you the specials, the things we got on the menu versus the specials were all excellent. So for me, like not getting the specials that you don't know the price of and you don't want to ask the price of, just get the things on the menu that you can actually clock how much it costs and then do the math in your head that way. That is, you don't have tables there. It's like a bar top that runs along the entire restaurant, along the wall, and then along the bar, and then along the other wall. So you are shoulder to shoulder with people there, but that's why I like it. It's that New York City feel. It is like you're in an excellent restaurant, Michelin star chef, and you guys are there to have an exquisite experience. It's walk-in only, which is also good because you don't have to worry about, well, we're all the way uptown and we want to get downtown and the reservation's at 8 and this. It's like, give yourself time to get there. Don't get there right before closing. You might have to wait for a table. But either way, like there's not that pressure of getting there on time. Now, Felice on Hudson is also a restaurant that I love. That is a very like more moody feel. And by the way, all these restaurants that I'm telling you guys and all this different stuff, I like it because I feel like it's places that I found that are a little bit more obscure, right? They're excellent food. I'm a big foodie, but it's just a little bit more like places that we've stumbled upon that are real New York City vibes that might not necessarily be like, oh, you have to go here if you're in New York City, because it's more of like the true New York City neighborhood feels, okay? With ambiance that's 10 out of 10 and food that's 10 out of 10. I don't recommend anywhere where the ambience or the food is not 10 out of 10. Okay. So Felice on Hudson, there's indoor and outdoor seating. You can do that city feel sitting outside, or you can eat inside, which is like this really deep, beautiful, like candlelit kind of environment. And I'm giving you guys an exclusive, like behind the scenes. We've gone into Felice on Hudson multiple times. We have seen multiple celebrities there. I think it's a really like well-kept secret of kind of a West Village, like celebrity hotspot, but people don't know about it. So that's why they go there. The last time we were there, there was a table of 5 or 6 actors, all of which you would know, one in particular being Walter Goggins. He was he's the star of Fallout. He was in White Lotus this year. Like he was there with a bunch of other different actors. So it's a very exclusive kind of like nice restaurant, but you don't necessarily you're not wearing black tie. You just need to wear like a nice shirt, nice pants. but it's a really beautiful, like deep, dim interior feeling without the kind of feeling like you need to book it out 6 or 5 months in advance. Like all the times we went into Felice on Hudson, it was, we just booked a reservation like 30 minutes in advance just to even just have our name on the list. But like you could have walked in and you would have been fine. Now, I will also say Joe's Pizza is a must go to pizza joint. There's several locations throughout the city. There is a Joe's Pizza a half a block away from the Comedy Cellar in the Village Underground. So we normally end the comedy show and then walk across the street to get Joe's Pizza. Okay, it's like $4 a slice. The comics go there before and after their sets. Like it's just like the pizza place in the city. It might not be the necessarily like number one ranked, but it is the most popular. That is that's a perfect mix between. It's a perfect mix between kind of that like tourist trap, but it's a tourist trap because it really is a New York City establishment. Like the walls are lined with actors and actresses and singers and celebrities that have eaten there. But the pizza's fucking bomb, like fire. And then I really like Portino in Chelsea, Porteno. It is a Argentinian restaurant. Their salad is fucking phenomenal to knock your socks off, and their margaritas are out of this world. So Portino I really, really like. And then the one tourist trap kind of place that I will tell you about, which it's not even a tourist trap, like you can when I say tourist trap, what I mean is you've probably heard about it, and so it's hard to tell if it's actually really that good or it's just like very exclusive. But Carbone, Carbone, it's an Italian restaurant. It is unbelievably difficult to get into. Reservations open 30 days in advance. And if you go onto the website, it'll tell you. Like it opens 30 days in advance at like 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. When I tell you we've only been able to get in there one time, if you're going for 4 days and you want to go to Carbone, you need to start trying to get the reservation the first day of your trip 30 days in advance. So like if you're going the 1st through the 4th, the previous month, starting on the 1st, you need to log in at that time, 10 o'clock, and like immediately start trying to get it, because you probably will not get it for several days. You have to be really, really, really quick on the computer. But it is a celebrity hotspot. The food is phenomenal. The spicy rigatoni is the most popular item there. You will see celebrities in there sometimes. Sometimes it's just the elite rich that are there. But it really is good, and it really is cool to get in there and feel like you ate at Carbone. So I would recommend, if you want to do one like really difficult to get into, like exclusive New York City restaurant, it's that one. Okay. Oh my God, now I can take a breath. That was a fucking mouthful. And I'm sorry, guys. If you're never planning on going to New York, I know that this is a boring episode. But I really wanted to give you a rundown of like how to navigate the city, do the city, where to stay, where to drink the coffee, how the cabs work, how you find parking and all that, because I know it can be intimidating. Let's just like quickly touch on tequila time. Scheana divulged in a Glamour magazine interview where I think they did an excerpt of her new book coming out that Brock cheated on her. I guess the only thing I really want to say about it is like these fucking loser ass bum men, like slightly, like I just cannot understand. Now, I know Scheana is annoying, and I know Scheana was the other woman at some point, so it's a little bit ironic saying like these bum men. I think it's more just because Brock cheated on Scheana. And by the way, these are real Vanderpump Rules cast members from a Bravo TV show, Vanderpump Rules. It has recently, they're revamping it. None of these people are even on the show anymore. They're doing a whole new cast this upcoming season. But Scheana does cameo on The Valley. And so does Brock. But It's just like so frustrating that these men will cheat on their wives and girlfriends when they're fucking pregnant. It's like, you fucking loser. And then the excuse that they use, he's like, I did it because I was having anxiety about being a dad again. And I wasn't even sure if I wasn't even sure if I deserved to be a father again, because he has 2 kids in Australia that don't speak to him. And he's like, I was just having anxiety. I didn't know if I was worthy. And it's like, so you cheated on your pregnant girlfriend or your pregnant fiance or your pregnant wife. I think they were even just dating at the time. And it's like, and then he came clean about it. And he was like, I wrote her a letter of every place I ever slept with this girl and how I got there and the why and when. It's like, you fucking loser. Like, now you're trying to sound like a good guy. Like, I divulged all the information to her so she felt secure. You fucking cheated on her while she was pregnant, you idiot. Like, you fucking moron. Like, I cannot stand these men sometimes. And then secondly, Justin Bieber's new album Swag came out. I really like it. There's some songs on there that are, of course, like odd. Like, there's some songs that I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't really like it. But I do like the album in itself because it sounds really, really stripped down. It sounds like almost rough around the edges. Like, it's not this polished, beautiful pop album. And I was like, babe, oh. No, it's like, it almost sounds like it was recorded on a cell phone. But not in a way that sounds like it sucks. It just sounds like really stripped down and raw. And the vocals are insane. Like, it's really beautiful. It just seems like, now I think it's like mixed reviews. I think it's literally getting like actually like 50-50 reviews. Like, some people hate it and say it sounds like shit and like scratchy and garbage. And some people are like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I personally like it. I feel like it sounds really authentic. It sounds raw. It sounds real. And for that, I'm loving it actually. I think I just realized looking at this, I think the issue with filming here is I think it needs to not be in this corner maybe. I gotta kind of see. I need to figure out if this solo setup is the best way here. And I was going to talk about my sister. I guess I'll just briefly touch on it. It's my little sister's birthday. She died 11 years ago yesterday. She died one day before her birthday. She was 21 turning 22. I deal with my sister's death in a totally detached way. I basically act like it didn't happen. I really am not interested in whether or not that's healthy. I don't care if it's healthy or not. Oftentimes when I tell people about my sister, I speak about her as if she's still alive. I am not interested in like doing the whole, like, if they say how many siblings do you have, I go 3. They go, oh, older or younger. Oh, 2 are younger, 1's older. Like, I'm not interested in this, like, oh, but how'd she die? None of your fucking business. Like, I'm not interested in that, you know? She's still a favorite in my contacts. Yeah, I'm not taking her out. I don't care if that's, like, not healthy and not coping. I am the one that has my sister's ashes. Me and my sister were very close. Ooh, like, the closest of all of our siblings. I mean, I'm really close with my little sister now. I'm close with my brother. Sorry, I'm just getting more comfortable as I'm talking about this. But like, we worked together, we lived together, we were roommates. She worked at the same restaurant as me, and there was a big switch up that we did right before she died to kind of try to switch things up for her a little bit. So she, stopped working at the restaurant that I was working at, and she moved in with my older sister, and we were just trying to give her a bit of a different environment. That did not help at all or work out at all. It's no one's fault. That's not my sister's fault. It's just, I guess what we thought it was going to do, it didn't do. I mean, you know, it's you know, it's a complex situation, you know. So I'm not going to get into the details of anything, but it is just like my life's biggest regret. Like I just feel like I can't even, actually, I'm not even going to I can't get into it. All I can say is it's my sister's birthday. I'm 34, which means she would have been turning 33. Because how me and my sister's birthdays work is we're always between 1 and 2 years apart. So like Kaya would have been turning 33. I would have been 34. And then in September, I would have turned 35. So there's like 3 months or 4 months that we're 1 year apart. And then I turn the next age up and then we're 2 years apart. And the same with my older sister, you know, like she's 36. I'm 34. I'm going to turn 35. She'll still be 36. And then in a few months from then, she'll turn 37. So all I can say is happy birthday to my sister. She loved lemons and white Cheez-Its and venti iced Starbucks vanilla brave lattes and scarves and jewelry. She loved a lot of things. She was very funny. If she was still alive, she'd be my podcast host. Because we had a great relationship, good banter. Literally loved each other so much. She was extremely funny and clever. I'm funny and clever too, but if you would have met her, she's 10 times more funnier and clever than me. And basically her loss was the worst thing ever. And it's actually killed me. And technically I'm still alive, but actually my soul is dead. Fun fact, the day she died is the day I decided I'm not having kids. I'm not open to loving someone that much again. I decided the day that she died, I'm never going to love anyone again, in the sense that the people I love are lucky they have a spot in my heart. As in, like, I love my best friend Jordan. I love my best friend Katie. I love my best friend Emily. I love my sister. I love my boyfriend. I love my dad. I love my brother. But I'm not open to loving anyone new. So if you got a love spot, you're lucky, but there's no more love spots available. Like, let's say my boyfriend dies. There's no more love spots open. Like, I'm not loving anyone anymore. New. So like I wouldn't date someone to love someone new. I'm not going to love people anymore. I'm not going to increase. Do you still hear this fucking lawnmower going? What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? See, I start getting in a bad mood when I talk about my sister. Are we mowing the whole neighborhood? What the fuck are we doing? It's been a fucking hour! Sorry about that, guys. When I get in a bad mood, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just don't want to talk about my sister. How about that? Okay. So, until next week, I will tell you all about TikTok, the TikTok headquarters. I'll give you the down low. I'll give you the ins and outs of it. I'll tell you about my Rehoboth Beach. Next week's going to be quite a fun recap week. We still got to workshop how the back of my new podcast studio looks. I got to figure it out. I got to get into the perfect scenario here. But I've been increasing my clips that I've been posting online, guys. I hope you've been seeing it and been proud of me. But until next time, like, review, subscribe, love, like, share. If I post a clip, please repost it. Please. Thank you so much. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. I hope we're all trying to stay politically educated, but still, enjoy our friends and family at this time. And until next week, bye.